Are you sick of waking up with anxiety and regret after drinking? I get it. I was a weekend binge drinker, fooling myself into believing I was detoxing all week, only to retox every weekend and live completely outside of alignment with my values. As a former personal trainer who cared about health, that disconnect pushed me to finally make a change. I'm Maureen Bankovich, and this is Sober Fit Life, a podcast where we get real about alcohol, share powerful stories, and learn from wellness experts so you can thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's get sober fit. Have you ever Googled, "Am I an alcoholic?" Me too. And here's the thing, it's not a helpful question. Those quizzes just slap on a label. Yes, you are. No, you're not. But what if it's not about the label and more about how drinking actually makes you feel? That's why I created Am I Drinking Too Much? It's the quiz I wish had existed when I was searching. No scare tactics, no rock bottom required. You'll get your results and a free guide that explains gray area drinking, plus 3 science-backed strategies to reduce or interrupt cravings. Take it at soberfitchick.com/MI. That's MI, as in, am I drinking too much? soberfitchick.com/MI. Joining me today is someone who is redefining alcohol-free living and travel, Susie Streelman. Susie is the founder of Zero Proof Experiences, where she curates unforgettable sober in the city weekends that prove you don't need alcohol to have an incredible time. Once she was someone who relied on wine for socializing, vacations, and special events, Susie has transformed her life, trading reliance on alcohol for empowerment. Now she helps others break free from that alcohol script and embrace a vibrant, fulfilling lifestyle. Susie's based in Long Beach with her husband of over 30 years. She spends her time golfing, practicing yoga, and planning her next adventure. Through Zero Proof Experiences, she's redefining connection, joy, and personal growth without the need for alcohol. So welcome, Susie.
Hey, thanks, Maureen. It's nice to see you. Hello from the West Coast.
Yeah. Hi from the East Coast. It is so nice to have you on here. I follow, what you do and these experiences that you curate called Sober in the City. And I'm going to get myself to one of these eventually. But I'd love for you to share, go back up a little bit, your personal journey when you started to rethink your relationship with alcohol and how you made those changes, and then take it a step further and create experiences for others.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Maureen. Yes, I think, I was just talking about this at a family party. People were asking me, so I was sort of remembering again, right?
Yeah.
How did this happen? And I said, actually, like you, I think I've always been sort of interested in health and fitness. And so over the years, over many years, I took a lot of breaks from alcohol. And it was partly, maybe because I was training for a race or a marathon or something. And, I'm not sure if I planned the marathon because I wanted to take a break from alcohol, if I took a break from alcohol because I was doing the marathon. If you
Yes,
get my
I get that.
drift.
Yes.
You probably do. So I was sort of an expert breaker. I took, a dry January. I actually did 2 whole entire Lent seasons, I don't know, over maybe 8 years ago or something like that. And at the end of those Lent seasons, I celebrated with a glass of champagne or 2 or, whatever on Easter. And so it was when I was taking those breaks, it was okay because I did kind of step back socially, right? Because I was like, I'm not drinking, so I would kind of sometimes avoid going out to dinner and so on. So, fast forward, we'll talk the brief versions. Around 2020, we actually had extras in our household. Some people had less. We had extras. So everything was extra, Maureen. There was more cookies, more food, more wine.
During COVID.
Yeah, in 2020. And so later in that year, I just kind of got to the point that I'm like, this is just enough. Like, I'm taking a break. I signed up with the fantastic Sober Sis clan. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a 4-month break here. and, we're going to kind of dial things back and see how it goes. So I signed up. I'm like, I'm all in. I'm going to do 4 months. I'm already pretty good at breaks. I can do, maybe a month once in a
Right.
while. And so I'm just going to do this 4 months and see what happens. And so it was really interesting. I never had this experience before because, dry January is great, right? We just finished that.
Yep.
But, I don't really think that gives you the full experience.
No.
I kind of, yeah, right.
It's just a drop in the bucket, really. But, it's usually for you, like it was for you and for me, it's the beginning, planting the seeds of this journey that you're explaining that you're going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it 4 months, I'm like, okay, I did this. I think I'm just going to keep going. Like I've already been going this far, right? So I think I'm going to keep going a little further. There's some things that I'm kind of liking. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to stress about, okay, I'm going to be ready for a morning workout on Tuesday or, not Tuesday, but Friday, whatever. So I kept going, and it was somewhere really around the 6 month mark for me
Yes.
that I kind of started to say, hey, you know what? I really kind of like this.
What did you like? Can I ask you specifically? What was standing out for you?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was the freedom in my head,
The
right?
mental freedom.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
All that chatter around alcohol. Ugh.
right. The freedom and wondering, like, okay, how many drinks am I going to have this weekend? Because, frankly, I did cut back a lot, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize how much thought I was putting
Isn't that
into it.
amazing? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So not only, feeling better physically and just able to do, I still have days where I don't feel good, uh,
Sure.
but feeling better physically. But that was really the big takeaway for me because I wasn't worried about, okay, am I going to go here and have half a glass of wine because a half a glass doesn't really count to, I can kind of let that go by um, to the daily total or the weekend total,
Yeah. Yeah. One
whatever
of the
it was.
things you said I thought was so interesting. You're like, you realized how much planning around outings, vacations, alcohol was always taken into consideration, where you would go, where would be the best place to have a drink to watch the sunset, travel, wine packages on cruises, all that. I thought that was such a good point. You realize how much is scheduled around alcohol.
Never saw that before. Never
Yeah.
noticed that. And you really do have to take, I think, that extended time away to really see it. I never saw how much in your face
Yeah, it is.
alcohol was before too. And so that kind of comes to the turning point, which I think is maybe your bigger part of the question is
Hmm.
because man, Maureen, one thing, like I didn't expect to become so trendy, right?
Right,
You know,
right.
so it's seeming more and more normal to at least take breaks from alcohol, if not, you know, kind of give it up altogether.
Yes.
But okay, I don't know what happened.
I can hear
Um,
you still. We can edit that part
oh,
out.
sorry.
So you were saying it became trendy. You were surprised by that. The whole sober curious movement really has, taken hold and getting bigger and bigger, which makes it a little bit better for us, what we do.
I think it's amazing
Yeah.
to go out and see more choices now.
Yes.
But yeah, at that time, it was just a few years ago. So here I was taking a break from alcohol, and I wanted to start to get out and do things, right?
Right. Because at first you had pulled back from socializing, and now you're like, wait, I want to get back out there, but I want to do it in this new way.
Yes. So
Yeah.
for a break, you can certainly do that, right?
Hmm.
But for a long term, like a lifestyle, I am not staying home.
Right. Right.
I'm not giving up. So I don't know. In some ways, did I want to prove to myself that this was like really a level up, not a level
Yep.
down, or that this was a valid choice, Maureen?
Right. And it has to be real world. You can't. withdraw from socializing, and so you had to test the waters and see if you could do this, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I started to kind of talk about it on Instagram. Like many people, I started an Instagram under, not my name, not my photo. It took me like well over a year to post my face on an
Your
Instagram
personal
story.
information.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just going to do it. It'll be gone in 24 hours. And, I did it and nobody died. So, you know, decided just to keep going. But yeah, for me, it is, sometimes challenging, right? To
Right.
navigate this world socially, alcohol free.
Yeah, definitely. Like in my coaching, that's got to be one of the biggest, mental blocks that comes up. But wait, how will I travel? How will I go away? How will I be fun? Can I enjoy myself? That is a big roadblock. And I know that that held me back for years. So you definitely found the gap, and addressed this need in this new alcohol-free lifestyle.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and certainly the silver lining for many of us have been meeting people
Yeah,
in this beautiful alcohol free space. So that is another thing that I absolutely did not expect to
right.
connect with you, Maureen.
Yeah,
We had you as our guest before on
right.
our Zero Proof community. But yeah, so I was around 6 months. I think I took my first trip. It was a girls' trip. I almost canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was
Mm-hmm.
nervous.
Yeah.
But I went. They were lovely. We had a great time. I came home and I said, they were lovely, but this experience, it needs to be better. The restaurants need
Could be.
more education.
Yes.
There was, the advent of the alcohol-free beverage industry really at that time, around 2021, 22. It is still growing
Right.
so vastly. And for me, that was a big game changer. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to kind of throw that out there. If you're listening and maybe you've tried a break before, I know that alcohol-free beverages are not 100% for everybody. For me, it's 100% a game changer.
I think so too, especially in the beginning when you need to have something in your hand and something in a nice glass. And it certainly helps that they're getting better and better. A lot of them have neurotropics or adaptogens and are healthier, but it definitely helps in the beginning, and it helps you feel, part of the experience, because a lot of people feel like they're missing out if they don't have something pretty in a glass to drink. And I get that 100%.
Yeah, you should. I mean, you
Yeah,
should have something to do with your
why not?
hands, right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, if you don't want to take your knitting to the restaurant, you should
Right.
probably be able to order a zero proof cocktail. And,
Yeah.
so fantastic that that's available. I
So
think,
how did you go from like, okay, this has to be better, to I'm going to create these sober in the city weekends? I mean, that's a big project and a big leap.
yeah, yeah, it was. And it was kind of scary, if I'm honest, right?
Hmm.
I think I started asking the question on Instagram, like, okay, is anybody interested? I was thinking maybe somebody would co host it with me. And I asked it enough times where there was actually a gal on there that said, why don't you just do this already?
Just do it.
And so I actually went to one of our favorite restaurants here in downtown Long Beach, and I booked a date and I put a deposit down, and they said, you know what, if it doesn't work out, you can spend the deposit dining out in our restaurant. And I'm like, well, if this doesn't work, we're just gonna have some really good meals out.
Right. Right.
But yeah, in fact, it did work. So it really kind of started out with a grassroots dinner on a
So
Saturday
your
night.
first one
Yeah.
was in your hometown. And how
Hmm.
many people came to that first one?
And we had 45 people come for dinner.
Whoa.
We didn't, realize that people might want to fly in because,
Right.
especially then there wasn't much. It's great to see more events, more travel opportunities coming up. And,
Yes.
we're just a part of that big wellness, alcohol free tourism picture.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, in that time, like a lot of people actually flew in to Long Beach, and so we got a little hotel block, and then we met Peggy Cooney, author of This
Yes,
Side of
love Peggy.
Alcohol, and
This Side of Alcohol. Very good book. Yes,
right, and such a fun person that
she
some of
is.
the people there said, "Hey, we should do one with Peggy, and she could be the speaker." And so we
Ah,
did that in Sacramento, and that's when it kind of started to grow a little bit because again, people flow in. So we got a hotel block, and we had just a little gathering. They gave us one suite, for Peggy, and we had a little gathering in there Friday night. And then we went to Austin, and that's really when it did grow into a whole weekend experience. So I asked
yeah. So
Peggy.
let's talk about like how it exploded really from there, because what is the size of your next upcoming one in Arizona, and how many people are flying in, and you have now multiple speakers. This is really taking steam and building.
Well, thank you. It's exciting, right?
Yeah,
And it's really a place to connect with people that are alcohol free. Most people are pretty dedicated or strongly, interested.
sure.
Not everybody is 100% alcohol free,
Hmm.
but they want to see a different choice
They're
and
curious.
experiencing a trip. Like I think most of us could remember a few times when you got home from a vacation and you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
I need another
I'm exhausted.
kind of shift here.
Yes,
I need a detox. I need to kind of
yes.
regroup and
Yeah, I always say I needed a vacation from my vacation
right,
because there was
right.
so much drinking. Like from the time I got to the airport, on the plane, at the hotel arrival, and it's like you said, it's so in your face. So you were kind of addressing all those issues and showing people it could be done a different way.
I do I do want to show, I think like my family too,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
that you can absolutely live 100% full life. I think fuller, Maureen,
Full.
without alcohol. Even though, like many of your clients, it sounds like that probably was my biggest fear. Like,
Hmm.
what what would we do on vacation?
Yeah, I
And
get it 100%.
probably we've all traveled with people, which we still do travel with people that drink alcohol. Many
Yep.
of my friends that I love very much drink
Hmm.
alcohol, and that's great, and we do enjoy it. But you do see that there's a different focus, right? That I didn't know. If I'm honest, I was right
Yeah,
there
sure.
with
Me
them.
too. It's all about the
Like,
alcohol.
okay, well, it's noon, so
Yeah.
let's see. And
And we're
you
on
know,
vacation, so why not have mimosas with breakfast? I mean, that's it would start, if I'm being honest, somewhere tropical, sure. And then we just
right?
keep going for
Or
lunch,
you're at the airport,
pre-dinner.
so
Yep.
it's certainly okay in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
how do you find like the connection is different at these events? Like what are you seeing and noticing and hearing from all your participants?
yeah. Hey, there we go. I keep finding, so you keep asking me these questions, and I'm like, these are things that surprised me in the alcohol free experience. Like, how is it possible, Maureen, that we're able to connect easier, I think, and deeper in an alcohol free space? That is it because, like my friend Heather Lowe of Ditch the Drink, she
Hmm.
says, you kind of walk in and you're on a level playing field, right?
Yes.
So you don't have somebody that's three drinks ahead of you and you're trying
Hmm.
to catch up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and the science of it is once you start drinking, you are not connecting. Your prefrontal cortex goes offline, your decision maker, your adult part of your brain. And so you're not really connecting with that person in front of you. And you're both focused on the next drink instead of like, what is she really saying? And, that's so interesting. And I mean, that's what I find anyway, back to the
Mm-hmm.
mental real estate. And also the times I've been on alcohol free trips with other women, especially who aren't drinking, it's like you already go 5 levels deep because you both understand each other and sort of the journey you've been through. And so it's just so great to just not have to explain that you don't drink anymore, and just there's a bonding that happens.
Yeah, there is a piece of that too, being with a
Yeah.
like-minded group. Like,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that used to, not so much anymore. I'm pretty used to it, and my friends are pretty used to me. They often spot the mocktail list before I do now.
Yeah.
But it used to be like walking into a dinner and kind of really the stress of like,
Yes.
okay, when it comes my turn to order a drink, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I pre-looked at the menu, but I'm telling you, I had some really rough times with
Of course.
with the
Yeah.
servers before, and I got all kinds of answers like, "I'm sorry, that's pre-mixed. Well,
Right.
that won't really taste like anything. Are you sure you'd really like that?" And that is terrible. So, you're walking into an event where it's already curated for you.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about that. And
That stress is gone.
that stress is gone.
Yeah, and then you can become really curious about who you are without alcohol. You can be your authentic self in a room full of other people trying to do the same thing.
For sure. And
Yeah.
we do understand that that's pretty scary
Yes.
sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, like, especially at the beginning. So there's it's well over 50% typically come for the weekend knowing no one. They might have
Yeah.
connected online a little bit, but they've never met anybody in person. I think that is so brave.
That says a lot. That says a lot right there,
Yeah.
that people are really wanting to find other people to connect with, like-minded. And what do you provide now? I know in the beginning you had a speaker here and there, but now it seems like you're having all kinds of events.
Yeah. We were, we
Like,
really
could you
do.
go
Like,
through like your itinerary of this one coming up in Arizona? Like what's happening
there's
there?
yeah, there's so many things. I'm gonna leave some people out, but
Uh,
we actually do a solo social first thing Friday afternoon, and that's just a way for people that come alone to kind of
mhm.
ease into the weekend, casual way to meet people.
Nice.
And then we always host a meet and greet Friday afternoon, evening, really. And in Scottsdale, it's going to be outside under the stars and
Ooh,
like, your typical kind of Scottsdale dreamy
yeah.
situation. So that'll actually be hosted by Peggy and myself this time. We're still working on what kind of interactive activity we're going to do, but we know it's going to be a lot of fun. We have
Right.
Paulina leading a sound bath for us after that.
Ooh.
So in the end, when it's a big travel day and you're a little exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
picture laying on a beach towel outdoors in the
Nice.
Scottsdale sky and just kind of chill out with a sound bath. And then Saturday, we really have all day breakout sessions. There's usually two things going on at a time. I think we have five, different sessions. So a beautiful continental breakfast again will be outdoors. We're really excited about
Nice.
outdoor venues there,
Yeah.
and we have a couple of different people presenting on the nervous system, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is so big in any person's life, honestly.
Well,
But and that
that is like the key to understanding how alcohol negatively impacts your central nervous system. And then everything you're providing here, from the sound baths to getting outside to early morning to community, all of that regulates your central nervous system without alcohol. That's
right,
beautiful.
right,
Yeah.
kind of get some dopamine building up there
Dopamine, and it's
too, right?
showing people
Get
like,
that.
oh, I can feel good, much better for longer lasting, doing these very things. This is what I coach people on, trying to find other activities to downregulate their central nervous system instead of using alcohol, which really has a negative impact, as we know. So all these things are. What else do you have planned?
Awesome.
I think I saw yoga.
Yeah, Sober Yoga Girl is coming all the way from Bali,
Sober
and
yoga
so
girl.
she's going to
Yeah.
be kind of
Wow.
infused throughout the weekend, plus an optional little workshop on Sunday morning. So we have that. We have some Reiki. We have mahjong. So what I think is really kind of a fun mix of things that are just plain fun, and
Hmm.
mahjong is one of those, like, a great possible new hobby that you
Yeah.
might want to take up, and great socially and so on. And
Uses your brain.
mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually meeting with Pammy to get more details about that tomorrow. But she is a former teacher and a mahjong expert. I'm probably
Oh,
pronouncing
wow.
that wrong, she says,
I
but
think mahjong, mahjong. Yeah.
yeah. Something like
Yeah.
that. So most of our format is actually already slated. We're going to
Hmm.
be throwing out more details and promoting the people that are coming to present, which we're very excited about. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to say, for me, my very favorite thing every time is the Saturday night dinner party. That's really my heart. And
And why is that your favorite?
yeah, because it's like this beautiful elevated dinner party. We do zero proof cocktail attire.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
it's a fun
Nice.
time to really dress up if you want to. And there's going to be luxury, zero proof cocktails and beverages. We have Groovy sponsoring
Yes.
those
Love groovy.
beverages Saturday night. And Annika actually will be, she's the founder of Groovy, if you don't know.
Right.
So she's going to be our keynote speaker there. And so you just have this, I can picture just walking into this beautiful lawn space with the
Hmm.
Scottsdale Mountains in the
Mm.
background, and then we always just have some dancing for those that want to just kind of let go, or if you want to just relax and enjoy your coffee and keep
Hmm.
connecting and building those connections that you've made throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I want to stop you there because you're hitting on so many potential triggers or roadblocks that people have, and you're showing them it can be done a different way. A luxurious dinner, sophisticated, an evening out, a beautiful hotel. These are all things that people think, how could I do that without alcohol? And so you're giving them the experience, because until somebody experiences it, and has it register in their brain and go, wow, okay, I can do this. Yeah. So you're
Right.
you're really providing this lovely experience.
It's not about tiptoeing in the door and thinking, okay, I'm sitting at a back table.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do this. This is about, hey, we're taking this over and
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of really a celebration of the alcohol free lifestyle. That's that's the
Yeah.
way I
That's
see it.
key. And do you have repeat now customers? Maybe I can imagine the person who came solo the first time and maybe hung back a little bit, and now they're coming the next time. Maybe they bring a friend. Is that what you're seeing happening?
We
Yeah.
are, yeah. So it's at least 30%, I think. And that number I think is going up because we've had quite a few now. In fact, Peggy just
Yeah.
told me that this one will be number 9, actually, which
Wow. Number 9.
is frankly kind of hard to believe. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so let's give everybody the details. Is there still room in this one, in the Scottsdale, Arizona one?
there is room. We're
Okay.
expecting around 100 people, and
100.
we have a really good start turnout. I think we have around 80 people now signed up, so maybe a few more. So we're
Mm-hmm.
getting there. The hotel block is, it's getting close to full. So
Mm-hmm.
um, we have been able to ask them for a few additional rooms based on our signups so far. So yeah, we would love to meet you. It's
And what are the dates?
And that is May 16 through 18. You can find us on zeroproofexperiences.com/Scottsdale.
Yeah. So if anybody's hearing this and they're interested or they're just curious, check out zeroproofexperiences.com. And you said backslash, was it something?
Scottsdale. Yes.
Scottsdale. So you can check out the
Yes.
hotel and the itinerary. But yeah, I think this is just incredible. So you went from a one night dinner in your hometown and now to having experiences all around the country, right? Because where else have you had these?
Yeah, all around the country. And we did actually go with, more of a smaller group experience to Bali last year.
You went to Bali.
We
That's
went to
right.
Bali, yeah, which was super special. I
I
mean,
bet.
yeah,
So
that's
where do you see
amazing.
this going in the future? How many a year?
Yeah, so this year we're actually going to do probably one larger sober in the city event each year.
Hmm.
So actually just researching locations for 2026 already, and we have some ideas. If you have good ideas, we love to hear from you too.
Okay.
Where do you think we should go? So we're going to be doing one of those each year, and we do have a membership that's really more of a connection and social membership. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a topical membership, uh, a variety of topics like goal setting, even different emotions and anger, but really for those that have been alcohol free probably for a while and want
Mm-hmm.
to connect a little bit more. So
Yeah.
it's more
After
casual.
alcohol lifestyle.
Hmm.
And do you still have the book club? I
Um,
know you did that occasionally.
yeah, we no,
Okay.
we're not doing the book club. And then here's what we'll probably do: some more small group trips in
Mm-hmm.
collaboration with other people, which is nice that there's a few more
Yes.
people planning those trips. So here's one thing: I know that you get this question, Maureen. What about wine tasting? What about wine
So the
tasting?
de-alkalized wine
Yeah.
tasting. Yeah.
So I mean that's like a big roadblock, and I have honestly been on a group trip which included wine tasting in Italy a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years ago. And I mean, I don't really recommend that, if I'm honest, right? That I feel like that is one thing that is kind of a challenge, being alcohol free. You
Yeah.
can
So as a
absolutely do
coach,
it.
like as a coach, what I recommend to people, if red wine was your thing, and say you're inside of a year of being alcohol free, you may not want to drink red wine alternatives. You might want to drink alcohol free beer, something that wasn't your thing,
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
triggery. And the truth is, de-alkalized, that's a hard word to say, wine is not going to taste like wine because it doesn't have the alcohol.
No.
And so I think until you're really solid, that could be triggery. I've had some clients be like, actually that really helps me. But I've had some go, oh, I didn't like that at all. It made me want wine. So you
Yeah.
have to know yourself, your triggers. So I would imagine
Correct.
with a group that could be tricky.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
I've been talking to a few people before and saying just like one day in the future, Maureen, like, we're going to kind of take that back. We're going to take that trip back and we're going to go up there to the Napa Valley, or I don't know, wherever it is. And we're going to, kind of make it our trip. And actually, you may know that some of the best de-alcoholized wine, there's many that I like here in the United
Hmm.
States too,
Yeah.
but I understand that the really great equipment is in Germany to
Interesting.
de-alcoholize wine. And so
Well,
I'm actually meeting with Darcy from
mm,
Hooked Alcohol Free Travel, who, we're just going to see if we might put together the first non-alcoholic
wine
wine
tasting.
tasting trip to Europe.
Yeah.
We'll see what works out, but I'm dangling that, as
I
a
like that.
possibility.
I mean, I think the alcohol industry is really working on it. The wineries, they're seeing this growth and this increase in people wanting alcohol-free wine. And, let's face it, the bottom line is making money for them. And so they're seeing this need in the market and they are working on it. I think they're doing better right now with the sparkling wines. Would you agree? Like the sparkling ones are better.
It's
But the
easier for
Yeah.
them to make it
Hmm.
good or nice, but
Yeah.
there is the Geronimo wine is out of Germany, and Ocean Beach Cafe is kind of representing it here in the United States. It's pricey, I will say, but I have tried it and it's very good. It's
Good.
it's very good. So, that I think that sounds pretty cool to kind of connect with where they they're way ahead of us in Europe,
Yeah.
honestly, and the
Interesting.
alcohol-free choices anyhow. So,
I think it
yeah,
would be great to reclaim that space. And plus, there's so many great activities around the wineries in California, for example. But once you start going on a wine tour, you don't look into those things, right? So, but drinking de-alkalized wine, you have energy and time to do other things, maybe like a hike or, whatever else you might be looking
Right.
into. So I love this future thinking for your zero proof experiences.
Yeah, and thanks for asking. The climate has changed so much, hasn't it? I mean, sure you've seen
Yes.
that in the last 3 years, that it's hard to say. Like, I'm certainly didn't expect like this is where we would be 3 years ago, right? I didn't
Yeah.
know what would be happening. So it is hard to say. We try to listen to our audience and what they want, but it's, really fun to connect with people that are so active in the space and see, like, where should we go too,
Right.
right?
Right.
um
And it's all because you listened to your instincts a long time ago and changed your relationship with alcohol. And then you thought, well, wait, it's got to be better. And you kept following that. And it's all because you let go of alcohol that you can do all this. I see this over and over again, and I'm sure you do too, Susie, in the alcohol-free space, where people are following their dreams, starting businesses, and creating opportunities like you are for other people, like-minded people who want to change and not revolve
it
around drinking.
it has opened some doors, yes, that I but you never thought I would walk through, like, just
Good for you.
yeah. So it's a great opportunity, like, to be on this podcast. I certainly that's one door I never would have walked through had,
Right.
had I not given up alcohol.
Me
So
too, as far as having a podcast. I never thought I'd be doing that. I mean, my friends are like, really, Maureen, you stopped drinking and now you're a coach and have a podcast. I'm like, yeah, I can't stop. It's like, I don't know. I'm being pulled forward. I
yeah.
feel like my faith in God has kind of led me down this path, to help others.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and thank you for that, and what you do. I'm just going to throw out one more thing that did surprise me
Yes.
a little bit with Sober in the City. I thought at first it was just going to be like Sober Curious Sally, who, saw me on Instagram or something. We do get some sober curious people, but there's a lot of leaders in the alcohol free space that like to come and, kind of be fed themselves. And
Hmm.
so that's been really, really fun to connect with different leaders. But almost maybe more importantly is to see them connect and see what partnerships have come out of that. There has been some book clubs started, and
Hmm.
the Sober Hive
Yeah.
connecting.
Collaborations.
Yeah, some
Right.
collaborations, and so I just feel really excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah. The sky's the limit for the potential that your space provides with these connections, what might come out of it.
Well, it's a great big world out here
Yeah,
in the alcohol free space of
it is.
2025.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we're just coming off of dry January. So
Hmm.
and that, honestly, I every dry January I get pretty excited. It's it's a little bit different this year. It's a little bit more normal. I
Yeah. I
mean,
actually have a group still going right now in February. We started actually at the end of January. And
oh,
so,
cool.
moving into February. So it's not
Yeah.
just dry January anymore.
Right. I mean, even
Yeah.
my bartender friends are talking about dry January. Like, I feel like you can't
I have a
avoid it.
bartender in my group, in my current group that's running.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah, it's amazing all the people that are, curious about it and trying something new. Well, I want to ask you, Susie, so you're doing all this for everybody else, providing the space for people to meet. What are you doing for yourself? What do you do to stay sober fit?
Sober fit. Well, I'm going to say this is one thing that gives me great satisfaction.
Hmm.
Okay. And this could be when maybe I go out to a restaurant, or let me just say, like, when I have something in my home, either for our family or a group of people. It makes me feel really good and empowered to have a beautiful alcohol-free offering, and
Hmm.
to make it festive and fun. And it doesn't even have to be like, for me, I have sort of a whole beverage fridge going,
Yeah,
and
me too.
we do have people that drink alcohol in our home that that is what works for our household.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to our beverage fridge, you'll probably find way more alcohol-free choices
Yeah.
than there are alcohol. And I just get a really great empowered feeling when I'm enjoying something nice, and I can share that and make that part of our family or friend culture.
So you really love the sharing and watching people have these aha moments and being interested in trying something different. You're providing that safe space to do that.
Right, right. Where
Yeah.
they really might have not had an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
in a a typical situation. But people are talking about it more. You may have seen it in the Super Bowl. This
Yeah.
is coming up just a little bit after the Super Bowl. So Michelob Ultra just put out their Zero, Michelob Ultra Zero.
Wow.
Um, that was released just in time for the Super Bowl, which I think was pretty good marketing. And they didn't, while
That's
they didn't in their main
right.
commercial, they didn't focus on it so much, but they did have really a sponsor spotlight. And also, Liquid Death had a whole big Super Bowl commercial.
I missed
So
that, but that's so great to see it's, hitting the big airwaves and people are taking notice.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, all my friends that do drink alcohol, they they talk about it.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
you're out in the front edge of this curve, what's happening, and I can only imagine that zero proof experiences and the vacations you provide are going to continue to grow. And I want to get on one of those, but I will send people to zero proof experiences to check it out. There's still room in the Arizona trip, which is again when
May 16th through 18th.
May
Yes.
16th through 18th, guys. So check it out. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Susie, for coming on Sober Fit Life. I really enjoyed getting to talk with you.
Thanks for having me, Maureen. Cheers from Long Beach.
Cheers. Have you ever Googled, am I an alcoholic? Me too. And here's the thing, it's not a helpful question. Those quizzes just slap on a label. Yes, you are. No, you're not. But what if it's not about the label and more about how drinking actually makes you feel? That's why I created Am I Drinking Too Much? It's the quiz I wish had existed when I was searching. No scare tactics, no rock bottom required. You'll get your results and a free guide that explains gray area drinking, plus 3 science-backed strategies to reduce or interrupt cravings. Take it at soberfitchick.com/MI. That's MI, as in, am I drinking too much? soberfitchick.com/MI.